Zooland. Read and written by Marcus Mason Williams. Chapter 1. A Great Sport. Football, one of the most important popular sports in history, celebrated and played around the globe. The best teams play hard and strive in every match to score the winning goal. One football team that was struggling to score goals was the England Soccer A team, who were in training for the upcoming UNICEF match against the rest of the world team. The England team's coach, Bradley Hill, was devastated. He wanted his team to win the UNICEF match, but they were all playing as individual superstars, not as a team. He felt down on his luck and that England had no chance. But his 16-year-old daughter wouldn't give up. She had dreams of being a footballer herself. She knew that somewhere in London there must be a champion with a heart of gold, the passion and the guts to score the winning goal, and someone who would inspire a team to come together in a time of need. Chapter 2. Milo's First Ball. On the edge of London is Regent's Park, with its world-famous zoo, home to all creatures great and small. But one of the animals is different from all the rest. His name is Milo, a zebra who lives with his dad, Glenn, in an enclosure next door to the giraffe paddock. One day, Milo and Glenn were being fed by Alice, one of the keepers. "It sure is a lovely day to be out and about," she said. The two zebras consumed the hay from their hay rack. "Well, gotta go," Alice said. "The hyenas aren't going to feed themselves." She patted Milo and Glenn and walked out of the pen, shutting the gate behind her. "Gee, Dad," said Milo impatiently. "I'm getting bored, just standing around. I wish there was some action in our lives." Glenn was getting tired of his son's constant complaining. "If you don't stop complaining, son," he said, "your friends are going to wish they never met you." "Fine," sighed Milo, and turned away. Glenn noticed that Milo was feeling sad, so he decided to calm down and comfort him. "I'm sorry, Milo. I should have been more sympathetic. I'll tell you what, we'll wait until the humans have gone home. Then we'll have fun in the big barn, okay?" Milo thought for a moment, then suggested that he, his dad, and their friends should have a disco in the big barn. "That's a great idea, son," said Glenn. "Whew, darn it, it's getting hot. I'm going back inside." As soon as Glenn went back inside the stable, Milo experienced something that would change his life forever. Out of nowhere, a round, bouncy object fell out of the sky and landed right onto Milo's head, knocking him unconscious. When he came to, a voice said, "Milo, are you alright, buddy?" It was Swing, the spider monkey, Milo's best friend. "Oh, Swing," groaned Milo. "Something hit me hard on the head." Swing laughed. "Did a pigeon poop a rock on your head?" "What? No," said Milo in surprise. "It might have been a lot of things, but a rock was not one of them." They both gazed at the object. The friends were both puzzled until Milo suddenly realized something. "Swing!" he said excitedly. "Do you realize? It's one of those kids' footballs I've always wanted since I was a kid." Swing was more puzzled than ever.
"So, let me get this straight. Is this the, football thing you've wanted since you were young?"
"Yes," exclaimed Milo. After explaining all about his dreams of being a football player, Milo asked Swing if he would like to play football with him. But Swing didn't know how to play. "That's okay," said Milo. "I was just figuring it out." They were just about to play when Glenn came out into the yard. And, "Hi, Milo. Swing," he said. "What are you two up to?" Milo froze in position from kicking the ball. "Oh, hi, Dad. Listen, this football hit me on the head, and now I'm going to have a game." "Are you sure, son?" asked Glenn. "What if someone comes looking for it?" Milo was trembling with confidence. "This is my chance to find my talents, Pops," he said. "And if it's not football, I don't know what is." So without further ado, the two friends kicked the football back and forth, while Glenn kept an eye out for humans. Suddenly he caught sight of people approaching. "Boys!" he cried. "Humans alert!" And Milo and Swing stopped. "Swing! Hide!" Milo said frantically. When the two people arrived, all they saw were two zebras standing on all fours, feeding from their hay rack. "Where's our ball?" asked one of them. "Oh, I don't know. Let's ask the staff if they have seen it." Chapter 3. The Zoo. As soon as the people left, the zebras breathed a sigh of relief. Swing was hiding in the hay rack. Because the animals shouldn't be out of their enclosures. "There's still some humans around," remarked Glenn. "You're right," said Milo. "Swing, you better head back to your enclosure before the staff find you're gone." So Swing headed off, leaving Glenn and Milo quietly playing football. The zoo was about to close. After all the animals were looked after, fed, and nurtured, the head keeper closed the zoo gates for the evening, leaving the animals safe in their enclosures. What the keepers didn't realize was that Swing knew where the master set of keys were kept and had learned how to unlock and lock all the enclosures. So as soon as the keepers were gone, Swing let Milo and Glenn out of their enclosure and then let out all the other animals so they could party and see their friends. Milo was caught up by some old friends. Swing the spider monkey, Leap the tree frog, Stalker the leopard, and Flip the flamingo. "Hey guys," said Milo. "What's up?"
Same old,
said Flip.
"Our keepers care for and look after us," said Stalker.
and they just won't get off our backs,"
retorted Leap. Milo was so keen to tell them what happened to him earlier. "Listen, you guys. Remember that football dream I have told you about since we were kids?"
"Yes."
said Leap sarcastically.
"Over and over again."
And she hopped onto Milo's shoulder. While Milo explained how the football landed on his head, Glenn caught up with old friends of his. Chuck the lowland gorilla, Jeannie the Rothschild giraffe, and Madison and Craig the meerkats with their triplets.
"So, Glenn," said Chuck, "how are things going with you and your son?"
"Well," began Glenn, "we're doing great. I tell you fellas, Milo can be such a dreamer." The others exchanged glances with each other. Madison smiled broadly.
"Oh, yes. He's got some of his mother's spirit,"
she said. Jeannie added gently,
"When he grows up, he needs to decide where that spirit will be needed."
"Quite right," nodded Craig. "You can worry for your children, old chap, but you have to believe in them too." When they came into the big barn, the other animals were hosting a disco. Everyone was dancing, jamming, and playing games. The band, called the Wild Birds, stepped to the stage and played rock and roll music all through the night. From the smallest insect to the largest elephant, every animal was having fun. In the morning, the animals were back in their enclosures and everything was back to normal. The people of London came to the zoo to see them as usual. Milo was playing with his football when a 16-year-old girl arrived at the zebra enclosure with her depressed dad. That girl was called Velma Hill. She was visiting the zoo with her dad, Bradley. When she saw Milo playing football, she was astonished.
"Wow, Dad! Look at that zebra playing football. Isn't that incredible?"
At first, her father wasn't interested. He had the cares of the world on his shoulders, and his intention was somewhere else. While Velma watched, amazed by Milo's football skills, Milo soon stopped what he was doing and stared in her direction. They both gazed at each other until Bradley called,
"Velma, let's go, sweetie."
and just like that, she was off. Did I frighten her? Was she amazed by my playing? Milo thought to himself. Afterwards, he played football every chance he got, even though Glenn often told him to be quiet and not let the keepers and other humans see him. But Milo was about to start an adventure of his own. Chapter 4. The Escape. One day, Glenn and Milo were resting in the morning sunshine, whilst their keepers, Alice and Derek, cleaned out their stable. "Oi, Alice! Look what I found!" called Derek, holding up Milo's football covered in dirty straw. Alice was curious.
What's a football doing here?
She asked. "Maybe some kids accidentally kicked it over the fence," said Derek. The keepers thought for a moment, then decided to take it to Lost and Found. Milo wanted to get his ball back, but Glenn told him to stay still. Milo frustratingly obeyed. After some hours feeding, Milo suddenly heard some teenagers talking about the struggles of the England football team preparing for the UNICEF soccer aid match. Their conversation gave him an idea. He turned to his father. "Dad!" he cried. The England football team needs some help, and I'm going to give it to them." "Well," said Glenn, "I knew you were a dreamer. But are you sure? I mean, the human world can be very dangerous." "Maybe. But I've been dreaming about this opportunity my whole life," said Milo. Glenn thought it was time to prepare Milo for the journey ahead. "Milo," he said, "did you know that when I was your age, I was a dreamer like you? I dreamt of being a rock and roller. I played the guitar very well, but my parents told me that playing in front of humans would be considered odd. So I continued on being a zebra. Then I met your mother. Now, I'm not complaining, but I always said to myself, if I could start over again, I would follow my heart. Remember your strengths, Milo," he said soothingly, "and never give up, no matter what." Milo was touched by his father's wise words and encouragement. So when night fell, the two of them decided to make a plan to escape from the zoo. Swing volunteered to help them in their escape. "Milo," he said, "if you're going to play football, then I'm going to help you." "No, Swing, you can't come with me," Milo added. But Swing wouldn't take no for an answer. "I'm your friend, Milo. Where you go, I go. We always have each other's backs." "What about the others?" asked Milo. "Don't worry, son," said Glenn. "I'll tell them that you two went away to play the game." So thanks to Swing's knowledge on how to escape, the two friends managed to avoid security cameras, unlock gates, escape from the confines of the zoo, and head out into the big city of London. First, they cut through Regent's Park, then walked, and just for a little change of pace, they walked some more. They began to pass a few sights along the way, such as Buckingham Palace, Mayfair, Paddington Station, Notting Hill, until they got completely lost. Okay, said Swing, getting very tired. We've been walking for miles and miles, and I haven't got a single coconut to show for it. Are you sure you know where we're going? Absolutely, said Milo. We're on our way to Wembley to find the stadium where football is played. They did pass a police car on the way. The constable noticed them and tried to call for backup.
This is dispatch 4. We got a zebra and a monkey en route, he said. Permission to follow? Leave it out. What sort of bloke do you think I am? Asked the sergeant back at the police station. Get on with your work.
Swing and Milo continued onward until they came across some stray dogs.
Oi, horse!
One cried.
You lost?
Swing was about to reply, but Milo put his hoof across his mouth. Well, on the contrary, Milo said with confidence, we're on our way to Wembley Football Stadium to compete in the UNICEF Soccer Aid match. Yeah. Well, the hard part is how to get there, Swing said sarcastically. The first dog, whose name was Baldric, snarled and bared his teeth.
This is my territory, and anyone who sets foot in it suffers these chompers.
Milo and Swing realized these guys weren't friendly, so they decided to run. The three dogs were ticked that the two friends didn't get the message, so they gave chase, snarling and snapping, and Swing got on Milo's back because he couldn't run fast enough to keep up. The two friends kept on running, dodging cars, slipping through alleyways, and scattering some local pigeons along the way.
We got him now, boss!
Sneered one of the dogs.
Milo, called Swing. We can't outrun them. Don't worry, said Milo. I'll think of something.
Then suddenly, they came across a whitely housed neighborhood. So with a little bit of improvisation, they jumped over a garden fence and managed to escape the dogs. Baldric yelled in frustration.
You may be lucky, but when you do come out, I'll be waiting.
Milo and Swing may have escaped the dogs, but not without injury. Milo had been bitten by Baldric and had now had a really bad wound in his side.
Are you okay, pal?
Asked Swing, looking concerned.
Just a little bit on the side, but I'll pull through,
grimaced Milo. Swing looked at the big bite mark and grew very worried. We need to find some place to rest until we get you better, he said. Milo looked around.
just as long as we don't wake up any of the humans that live here,
he said. He whispered. They then caught sight of a garden shed, and looking at each other,
both had the same idea.
Let's hide in there,
they whispered together. Little did they know that they had found their way to the Hill family home.
Chapter 5. A New Friend. The home of Velma Hill and her father Bradley was at 56 Hamilton Road.
On this very night, Velma was just getting ready for bed when she heard an unfamiliar noise coming from the garden shed.
What's that?
She said to herself. She crept quietly downstairs while her father was sleeping, grabbed a torch, and went out into the garden. She was kind of nervous because she didn't know what to expect.
Hello?
She called.
Who's there?
Inside the shed, Milo and Swing tried their best to be quiet, but before they could do anything, Velma opened the door and was surprised to find what she saw. At first, she screamed, and Milo and Swing screamed, until eventually Milo pulled her into the shed and put his hoof on her mouth and kept her quiet. When her father heard the screaming, he jumped out of bed. He called, "Velma, are you okay, sweetheart?" By this time, Velma had calmed down a bit and called,
I'm okay, Dad.
"Well, whatever you're doing, stop it out there. You've got school in the morning. Go back to bed." After Bradley went back to sleep, Milo, Swing, and Velma felt calm enough to stand and look at each other. Velma said to herself,
Okay. I got a zebra and a monkey in my garden shed. Who would have believed it?
"Well, seeing is to believing, I guess," said Milo. Then suddenly, Velma realized she could understand Milo speaking.
Are you speaking to me?
She asked. "Huh? What?" asked Milo. Then, "Hey, Milo," said Swing. "Did that girl just understand you?"
Oh my God,
said Velma.
now the monkey is speaking. Oh, I hope I'm not dreaming. This is amazing.
Then Swing decided to pinch her to make sure she wasn't dreaming.
Ow, what the heck?
Velma cried. "I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure you weren't dreaming," said Swing.
Yeah, well, I had been woken up in the middle of the night by both a zebra and a monkey who were talking to me.
"I know," said Milo. "This is kind of a first for me too. I didn't realize some humans could understand us." Suddenly, Velma saw the forked stripe going down Milo's forehead and realized that she recognized him.
Wait a minute. Aren't you that zebra I saw playing football in the zoo?
"Yes," said Milo. "My name's Milo. This is my best friend, Swing. And you must be Velma."
How do you know my name?
asked Velma. "I heard your father call your name a few minutes ago," said Milo. Swing was getting very worried. "Look, girl, my friend is hurt, and we're trying to let him heal," he said. Velma saw the bite mark on Milo's side.
Oh my goodness, you're hurt.
she said, sounding worried. That's what I said, said Swing indignantly. Velma looked around, then told the animals that they could hide in her house's basement. She said,
It's warmer, there's more space, and it will be easy for me to sneak down and see you, as Dad never goes into the basement. Follow me,
she said quietly. They followed her and went down the basement through the entrance at the side of the house. When they arrived, Milo saw football shirts, trophies, and a football of Velma's own. Wow, he said in amazement. Are these trophies of the England football team?
No, said Velma. These are my trophies. I won them with my school team.
She told them that she played football for the fun of it, and that her father didn't just coach the England team, but her school football team too. You play football? Asked Milo. Velma nodded. She told Milo that she'd been amazed watching him play for a few minutes at the zoo. Before her dad told her it was time to leave.
In all my time playing football, I have never seen such a natural player before.
Suddenly, a thought struck her.
Say, what are you guys doing outside the zoo?
Oh, she asked. Milo looked at Swing, who shook his head, but Milo told her anyway. We're on our way to Wembley to play for England in the UNICEF soccer aid match. It's been my dream to play football since I was a foal.
I see,
said Velma. Then she grinned, realizing that Milo was just the player she, her family, and England needed.
You know, you may love football, she said, but what you need is a trainer, someone who can help you develop the rest of your game and get you into shape.
Okay, said Milo. You know anyone like that?
Yeah. You're looking at her,
replied Velma. Milo thought for a moment, then decided to talk with Swing. Swing, he said. This girl knows more about playing football than either of us do. Maybe she can train us, and maybe we can join a team. Look, Milo, this girl seems okay, but how do we know we can trust her? Asked Swing. Well, she didn't give us up to her dad. Besides, do you want to miss out on a golden opportunity? Asked Milo. Swing realized that friends stick together and respect each other's decisions, so he decided, why not? Then it was settled. Velma said that she should soon have lots of time to train them. She explained she was leaving school soon for the summer, so her plan was to play football, or for the fun of it, before starting at college. But first, she was gonna have to tend to Milo's bite wound. Luckily, she had done a first aid course at school.
See if you can use this cloth to stop the bleeding,
she said to Swing. At first, Swing didn't know what to do with the cloth until Velma told him to press it up against Milo's side to stop the blood flow. She went up to the kitchen to fetch the first aid kit. When she returned,
She quickly cleaned the wound and put on a large dressing. Milo was very grateful. "Thank you," he said. "To be fair, this isn't my first time I got hurt. I tripped over a tin can, and injured my ankle. Luckily, the vet was around to see me through."
Wow, said Velma. You must have been so brave. Well, I'm on my way to bed. I'll see you in the morning.
Chapter 6. On the Search. Back at the zoo, Flip, Leap, and Stalker were having fun when...
Guys, said Flip, has anyone heard back from Milo and Swing?
No, announced Stalker and Leap.
Let's go and pay them a visit,
said Flip, showing his sweet and caring nature. When they got to Swing's monkey cage, he weren't there, and neither was Milo in his enclosure. They searched around the enclosure, calling out, "Milo!" when Glenn appeared. "Can I help you kids with something?" he asked. "Well," began Stalker, "we've just been wandering around the zoo and saw this great place where they sell roast beef to humans. Boy, if only I could get some of that and..." But then Flip interrupted.
Stalker, please focus. Glenn, where are Milo and Swing?
"Well, if you must know," replied Glenn, "my boy and his friend have gone to play football at Wembley."
The three friends were surprised.
They went off and they never bothered to tell us?
Said Leap, feeling annoyed. "I know," said Stalker. "What was Milo thinking, the fool?"
Guys,
said Flip gently.
Let's not jump to conclusions. If Milo's out there, then it's our job to have his back, no matter what.
The others looked at each other. "I don't know," said Stalker. "I'd rather be resting on my comfy boulder right now." But Flip wouldn't take any nonsense.
Stalker, she said firmly. If you were stuck in a tough situation, what would Milo do?
Stalker tried to think, but he had nothing.
I'll tell you what,
continued Flip.
Our friend would always have our backs. You got that right, girlfriend, replied Leap. So in
other words, we go after him, suggested Stalker. Flip had, as usual, helped the friends find a solution. They were going to have to find Milo and Swing and support them through thick and thin. So, while no humans were looking, Flip, Leap, and Stalker sneaked out of the zoo to find their friends. They passed many dangerous different places along the way. Then Flip caught sight of some pigeons. She tried calling to them.
Excuse me, she called. Have you seen a zebra and a monkey going through the city?
So what if I have, sweetheart? Said one of the pigeons. It's a big city.
Anything goes.
But then another pigeon with common sense decided, I apologize for my friend, Mom. But if you like, we can provide aerial support to find your friends. Flip was so relieved.
You do that for me?
She asked. Then Stalker and Leap gave her the ahem to remind her.
Oh, right. Us.
Flip said, pulling herself together.
So,
Another pigeon said.
can you fly, Mom?
Flip hesitated.
I'm sorry, no. I had my flight feathers clipped when I was young,
She said. After their discussion with the pigeons, the friends continued their journey. They had just passed through the alleyway where Baldric and his gang lived when went a sound. Then they both looked at Stalker.
Stalker, either you were just growling or didn't you have any lunch?
Asked Leap.
Yes, I did have lunch. And no, I didn't growl.
Well, not on purpose. Then Flip realized they were not alone. Suddenly, out of the shadows came Baldric and his gang.
Well, well, boys.
He snickered.
More outsiders
Who have lost their way. Stalker tried to reason with them.
Look,
Fellas, he began.
we're just on our way through the city to find two friends of ours, a zebra and a monkey who's stupid. You wouldn't happen to know where they are, would you?
Then Baldric stopped dead in his tracks and said,
Did you say zebra? The one who made a fool out of me?
Yes.
Flip said sternly.
So if you just tell us where you've seen them, we'll be on our way.
Then Baldric started to get serious.
Oh, I don't think so.
He snarled.
You see, anyone acquainted with that painted horse is no friend of mine.
Then suddenly, a pigeon called out, Hey! I've just found your friends! They're at 56 Hamilton Road! You can't miss them!
Flip called back.
Thanks for telling us.
The friends looked around for a way to escape, but Baldric's pack had them cornered. Just then, a stray dog said to them,
Go! I'll hold them at bay.
His name was Boise.
Thanks, friend.
Said Stalker quickly. While Boise kept Baldric and his gang at bay, Stalker, Leap, and Flip made a break for it. The other dogs watched as Boise and Baldric fought boldly. By the time it was over, Baldric was down.
Get out of here, Baldric,
Growls Boise.
and take your fleas with you.
This ain't over.
Said Baldric.
I'll find those hipsters, and when I do, they're going to be so sorry.
And he and his gang fled.
Meanwhile, Stalker, Flip, and Leap managed to lose the dogs and find their way to Hamilton Road.
Have they gone?
Asked Flip.
I think so.
panted Stalker.
Good thing I held on the whole time,
replied Leap.
Come on, we got to find Milo and Swing before they do,
said Flip.
They searched and searched until finally they found number 56.
Down in the basement, Milo and Swing were enjoying themselves when suddenly they heard voices outside. Do you think it might be those dogs? Or the police coming to find us? Asked Swing. I don't know, said Milo. But we're gonna find out. But then he recognized Flip's voice. Hey, I know that sweet voice, he said. When Milo climbed out of the basement, they were all surprised to see each other. Flip! Stalker! Leap! Boy, am I glad to see you guys, Milo said happily.
We were so worried about you,
said Flip. Swing was still down in the basin. Are they gone? He called. Don't worry, buddy, Milo called back. It's only Flip, Stalker, and Leap. Come on out. Swing finally came out of the basement. What are you lot doing here? He asked. We came all this way to find you two, Stalker said, annoyed, slapping Swing on the forehead. So why don't you come home before things get out of hand? But Milo refused to budge. I'm not going anywhere until I've scored the winning goal. Are you crazy? Stalker asked in frustration. Animals don't play football. Oh yeah? Milo retorted. Well, there's always a first time for everything. Milo and Stalker were just about to argue until Flip stepped in.
Boys, enough,
she said firmly.
Remember we agreed to support each other as a team.
Then Milo got his big idea. Flip, you're a genius, he said excitedly. Then he told his friends that football requires teamwork. So, are you in? Milo asked. I'm in, Swing said.
Heck yeah, I'm in,
Leap said. Flip said,
I'll follow you and support you all the way, Milo.
One by one, they looked at Stalker. At first he was reluctant to join, but eventually he said, all right, I'm in, but only to see where this goes. Then it's settled, said Milo. We'll tell Velma when she gets back from school. I'm surrounded by idiots, Stalker said to himself. Chapter 7. The Training. At school, Velma was delighted as she had just completed her final GCSE paper. She was on her way home when her friends Josephine and Sarah stopped her.
Oi, Velmster, said Joe. How's your football training going?
As a matter of fact, I am on the verge of training a new champion, replied Velma.
Does your dad know?
Asked Sarah. Velma shook her head.
He's buried in his sorrow, so I haven't told him yet. You know,
said Joe,
it wouldn't kill you to come clean with him.
Velma began to ponder Joe's suggestion. Then Bradley came to pick her up. Come on, kiddo. Time to go home, he called. Velma got into the car, and away they went. On the way, Velma began to think of what Joe said, but she just wasn't ready to discuss it. Meanwhile, back at the basement, Milo and his friends were getting used to living the comfy life. "I don't know about you guys," said Stalker, "but living in a basement can really allow you to settle down. Or allow you to cough up a hairball in your case," Swing joked. Stalker gave him a threatening snarl to say, "Watch it." "Oh, Swing, you crack me up, you do," Milo cackled. He and Stalker were watching an action movie, which was Swing's idea.
Those boys, huh?
Flip said to Leap.
They can certainly drive us girls nuts. The trouble with you,
Remarked Leap.
is that you don't have the attitude of a rapper.
She was just about to show Flip her rap singing when they heard Velma and her dad open and close the front door behind them.
I'm just going down to the basement. I won't be too long,
said Velma. "Okay," said Bradley. "But don't forget we've got to plan for your move to college." As soon as Velma went into the basement, she was surprised to find more zoo animals hanging around. She turned to Milo.
Where did you find these other animals?
She asked. "I didn't," said Milo. "They found me." Stalker, Flip, and Leap were surprised to find out that Milo was talking to a human.
How is that human understanding our pal?
Asked Leap. The others just shrugged their shoulders. "Oh, allow me to introduce us," said Milo. "Guys, this is Velma Hill. She's going to be our coach. Velma, this is Flip, Leap, and Stalker, my other friends." Velma didn't know what to make of this.
But I thought I was supposed to train you for the match, not the rest of these guys,
she said. "Come on, Velma," Milo begged. "As I recall, football players can come in teams, so I've just bought my own."
But do they know how to play?
Velma asked. "Well, not really," said Milo. "But that's why you're here. Come on, Velma, what do you say?" At first, Velma didn't know what to think, but in the end she decided to heck with it. So without further ado, she gathered the friends around for a meeting.
All right, you guys. Training begins this evening at Regent's Park, so save your energies. Whoa, back up,
said Leap.
Are you saying that we have to train in Regent's Park at night? That's right,
replied Velma. Nighttime is
a good time because it is when people least expect it.
That shouldn't be a problem for me, said Stalker. My species can see well in the dark. Buddy, the rest of us can't see as well at night as you can, Swing said. But Velma reassured them that there would be lights surrounding the field, so they would be okay. At night, when no one was looking, Velma got on her bicycle to check if the coast is clear. When everything was clear, She signaled to the others. "Move out," she said. And so, our friends traveled to Regent's Park to start their training. When they got there, the field was quiet and dim.
"Well, this is the pitch where we should start,"
Velma said. "Well, at least unicorns won't be coming out of the sky to greet us," Swing cracked. The others looked at him with raised eyebrows. Flip asked,
"Since when do unicorns exist in our world?"
she asked. Then they all looked at Milo, as if to mistake him for a unicorn. Milo said, "Guys, focus! We have a big match coming up, and we have to train."
"And that's right,"
remarked Velma. She was just getting out the football equipment.
"So let's get kicking."
In no time at all, Velma started teaching the animals the tricks of the sport. They began with warm-up routines, stretches, push-ups, jogging around the field, star jumps, etc. Then she started to introduce them to some football skills, how to control, pass, and head the ball. Sometimes they didn't get it right the first time.
"It's okay, guys,"
said Velma.
"What matters is how much you can keep going after you've been knocked down."
Stalker fell behind the rest. Velma showed them how to dribble the ball down the field, how to defend their goal from the rival players, and how to play as a team. The friends started to falter, but despite many mistakes, Velma encouraged them onward, and gradually the animals started to improve thanks to Milo's confidence and encouragement. Velma had never been so impressed in her life. After the workout, Velma and her new friends lay under the stars, drinking water and comparing each other's stories.
"This is wonderful,"
smiled Velma.
"You know, after I play a football game, I come outside to watch the stars shine."
She turned to Milo.
"Tell me, Milo, how did you become interested in football anyway?"
Well, I found out about football from watching kids play around in the zoo grounds from when I was just a young foal, began Milo. Then I got my first football when it fell onto my head just before you saw me at the zoo. Ever since I heard the keepers talking about England losing to Spain and our whole team becoming downhearted, all I wanted was to play. So then I heard the keepers say that the UNICEF soccer aid match was coming up to raise money to help really poor children all around the world. So I decided I had to play in the match to score a goal to help the England team help it win against the rest of the world team and to raise lots of money. Believe me, Stalker said, ever since we were kids, he wouldn't stop going on about football. Don't you ever wish he would think of something else? All the others started to laugh with joy.
"Well, we've all got dreams too,"
said Leap.
"Really?"
said Velma.
What dreams do you guys have?
Swing was the first to answer. My dream is to do my own stunts. I've been practicing my swings, skateboarding, and all sorts of gymnastics, he said. Every time he took a swing, he crashes into walls, rubbish bins, swimming pools, and vans, Milo joked.
Ouch,
Said Velma.
you must have had lots of injuries. Don't you think it's kind of dangerous?
Stalker interrupted. Oh, believe me, we've been trying to talk some sense into him for some time. But no, he just keeps on performing those ridiculous stunts.
Swing reacted grumpily to Stalker. Those stunts are not ridiculous. They're perfect, he retorted.
Anyway,
Began Flip before Swing and Stalker could get into another argument.
my dream is to be an actress on stage. Wow,
Said Velma.
I hope you win an Oscar for Best Actress, girlfriend. And my dream is to be the best rap singer of all time,
Said Leap excitedly.
I've been dreaming about it ever since I was a froglet. I'd do anything to fulfill that dream.
Well, began Stalker, my dream is to start my own yoga class. Because besides lying around and naps, I've been stretching my muscles and limbering up for just such an occasion for a long time.
I hope you guys fulfill your dreams and ambitions,
Said Velma. What about you, Velma? Asked Milo. What is your dream?
Okay,
Said Velma.
well, my dream would be to form and train my own football team. Ever since I saw my first football game on TV, I've been wanting to practice and prepare myself. Like you, when England started its current losing streak, I began dreaming of finding a champion to step up and help turn things around.
All through the night, Velma and the animals compared their lives with each other, and Velma even showed Milo which stars were special to her.
My mom is up there somewhere,
She said. Milo knew what she meant. He couldn't help but feel sad for her. I'm sorry for your loss, he said. How did she die? Velma told Milo that her mother died of cancer when she was only 12, and that her father had found it hard to keep going forwards without her. My mother was moved to another zoo when I was a young foal, said Milo. They both agreed how important it was not to give up on your dreams. Chapter 8. The First Kickoff. Back at the zoo, the very next morning, Alice went to check on the two zebras, but she got a surprise to find out that there was only Glenn in the pen.
Derek,
She called on the radio.
we've got a problem. I see Glenn, but there's no sign of Milo, the young one.
Have you tried looking inside the stable?
Derek asked. Alice looked quickly inside the stable, but there was still no sign of Milo.
Derek, it's official. Milo, the young zebra, is missing.
The two keepers went immediately to notify the head keeper and the zoo manager, and told them what had happened.
So you see, said Alice, we checked all around the enclosure, but there was no sign of our Milo. It's like he just vanished.
The head keeper and manager tried their best to stay calm, even though they were both trembling with agitation. Let's just remain calm and see if we can find him. Everything will be all right, reassured the head keeper. Then, we got an even bigger problem. Some of the other animals are missing too. This had better be a bad dream, said the zoo manager in frustration. The other keeper exclaimed that there was not just the zebra missing, but also a flamingo, a tree frog, a spider monkey, and an Amur leopard. A leopard! Shouted the zoo manager. Do you realize how serious this is? If these animals run rapid through London, they could end up hurting themselves or others. We must notify the police. The leopard could be very dangerous. We need to track the animals down, tranquilize them, and bring them back. The head keeper identified the best and most highly trained keepers and sent out an urgent radio message to the team to prepare for an emergency animal rescue operation. Back in Regent's Park, Milo and the others were still sleeping when a group of teenage boys discovered their resting place. Look at the hippies, said one of them. Let's give them a good pounding. So they began throwing the practice balls at the animals in Velma. The friends immediately woke up. Stop it! Cried Velma. Wait! But the boys didn't stop. They just kept on pounding the balls. Then as one more ball hurtled towards them, Milo jumped forward and hit the ball right back, hitting one of the boys in the face. Then the other animals surprised the boys by getting up on two legs. Velma recognized the lead boy.
Arthur Atkins,
she said, narrowing her eyes. That boy used to bully her in school, and now he was back for more. Hello, Smelma, he chuckled. Still playing the losing side, I see.
Oh, come off it, Arthur. England is your home too,
said Velma crossly. Then Arthur fixed his mean-looking eyes on the animals. Who are the walking freak show? He asked. The animals just glared.
For your information, Artie,
Velma said sternly,
these guys are members of my new football team who are going to play in the UNICEF Soccer Aid match.
The boys laughed and laughed and laughed until they couldn't stand up. Oh, really? Asked Arthur. If they're so good, what are they doing in these stupid costumes? That made the animals even more cross. Velma had an idea.
Hold on a minute,
she said. She called the animals into a group huddle.
Okay, listen up,
she said.
We can't cause a scene in front of the entire park. So I say we continue to let them think you are humans in animal costumes and test our training by challenging these guys to a football game. I say we beat the heck out of them and be done with it,
agreed Leap. Stalker readied his claws. Just say the word and I'll maul them, he said.
I may despise bullies as much as the next guy, but harming others won't get us anywhere,
Flip reminded them. Guys, look, this is our chance to demonstrate our football skills, said Milo. Can we get on with the beating? Called one teenager from the group.
In a minute,
shouted Velma. Turning to Milo and his friends, she said,
Okay, guys, it's 3 weeks until Soccer Aid, so let's show these troublemakers what we've got.
So with that, Velma said,
We challenge you to a football game. If we win, you leave Regent's Park, and if you win,
you suffer humiliation, Arthur interrupted. Velma looked at Milo and the others, and they nodded. So Velma and Arthur shook on it.
Okay, just to let you guys know, Arthur used to play sport in school, so could be quite a challenge,
Velma said.
I'm a bit of a delicate bird,
said Flip.
So let's not have any injuries.
Sounds like they're not giving us much choice, Stalker said.
I'm all for busting skulls anyway,
said Leap. Then Milo appealed to the team's spirit. Guys, this could be our chance to show what our team is made of, he said. After discussing the game plan, the team were ready for action. They moved into the center of the pitch, the teenagers on one side, Velma and the animals on the other. No dirty playing, got it? Let's play 15 minutes each way, said one of the teenagers, who had offered to a referee. He raised his hanky, and both teams locked eyes, ready to play. Finally, the referee whistled and cried out, "Play!" Both teams rushed to the ball. Milo caught the ball with his hoof and passed it to Stalker. The leopard had forgotten how to pass the ball, so one of the boys tackled the ball off him and headed towards goal. "Thanks, kitty cat," he laughed, and then passed the ball to a teammate. After 10 minutes, the game was not going well for Milo and his friends. They tried and tried, but it was no use. The boys were 1-0 up. Might as well give up while you still have some dignity, laughed Arthur. Well, I guess we'll have to suffer humiliation, said Stalker to his friends. The animals all felt like they lost, except Velma and Milo. The referee whistled to the end of the first half.
Let's see what happens in the second half,
Velma said. What? The animals cried.
Are you crazy?
asked Leap. Look, just because we're losing now doesn't mean we're giving up easy, said Milo. Have you ever seen the way those guys play? asked Stalker. There's no way we can beat them now. At first the others were unsure about playing again, but Velma decided to give them a pep talk.
Stop complaining,
she cried. She gathered them up into another group huddle.
Now remember what I told you. When you get knocked down, you don't just give up. You have to keep going until you succeed,
she said. Velma's right, said Milo. We didn't do all this training to give up now. So they put their hands, hooves, paws, and claws in and raised them up into the air. Velma called out,
"Hey, Arthur! You may be winning after the first half, but we'll get you in the second."
Arthur turned and said, "Is that right, Smelma? Well, prepare for another bean. What do you say, boys?" But clearly they had underestimated Milo, his team, and their determination. Velma explained the plan of action.
"All right, Swing. You take goalie. Leap and Milo take the left. Flip, Stalker, take the right. And I'll take the middle," she said. "Now let's show 'em what we got."
The referee yelled, "Play!" Velma charged and passed the ball towards Milo. Milo galloped down on the wing, dribbling in the ball and dodging several of the teenagers. He then kicked the ball as hard as he could. It flew through the air, just over the goalie's head, and dropped into the back of the net. All the animals were amazed. Velma yelled,
"We've got him now! Keep going, guys!"
She kicked off again, then passed to Milo. He tapped the ball with his knee and passed it right to Flip. She caught it with her head and saw Stalker waving out to tell her that he was ready to score. Flip flung the ball right into the air, then using her skinny foot, kicked the ball straight towards Stalker, who headed the ball into the top corner of the net to score a goal. The team cheered with delight and joy. So did the passers-by, who started to gather around the pitch and caught the action on their phones. Just then the referees whistled and shouted, "Game over!" "That was awesome!" cried Milo. "I've never felt so alive!" Swing said, "I've never felt so alive!" Swing said excitedly. "This is so much fun than dropping banana in front of someone else's feet." The others gave him stern looks. "Okay, Mimi, not that kind of fun." "I gotta admit," said Stalker, sounding worn out, "this activity kind of has an impact on joints. But what a blast!" Even Flip felt like she had fun.
"The most important thing is that we triumphed as a team, just the way I like it." "Those boys had underestimated my size,"
laughed Leap. Milo turned to Velma and smiled. "If only our dads could see us now," he said. Then Velma couldn't help but feel guilty for not letting her dad in on her secret. She turned to Milo.
"Milo, can I talk with you, please? In private?"
Milo didn't know what she wanted, but he went with the flow. "Yes? Have you got a strategy for the next stage of the team training?" he asked. But when he looked, he could see that Velma's face was very serious.
"There's no strategy," she said. "My daddy will be expecting me home soon. We agreed we would discuss college plans. So can you do me a favor and keep an eye on your teammates and start preparing them for the soccer aid game while I'm gone.
Milo at first felt very unsure about leading his friends into a game, but Velma put her hand on his shoulder and gave him confidence.
Hey, look at me,
She said,
you have the makings of a grand champion. I believe in you guys. Trust your abilities. Trust your team. And trust yourself.
Milo nodded in agreement, so Velma kissed him on the muzzle. Then she ran off, leaving him with the team. How am I ever gonna break it to the team? Milo thought. Chapter 9. Taken back home. Back at 56 Hamilton Road, Velma had returned home to find her father waiting for her. He did not look pleased.
Where have you been? I've been more sick, young lady, he cried.
Velma took a deep breath and then told her father the truth.
I was at Regent's Park last night,
She said,
What were you doing in Regent's Park at night? Hanging out with boys?
Bradley asked sternly.
No, Dad. I've been training the next football team to play at Soccer 8.
Velma reacted. But Bradley wasn't interested in his daughter's excuses.
I don't believe my own daughter has been hiding things from me, he said crossly. From now on, you can forget about football, because you are grounded for a month, and I don't want to hear a yelp out of you until you have all time to thought things through.
That is so unfair, Dad.
Velma shouted in frustration.
Go to your room,
Cried her father, and Velma crawled out.
Fine.
And then slammed her bedroom door behind her. She was so upset that her father had given up on his football team and now on his own daughter. Miles away at Regent's Park, Milo was thinking about what Velma had told him when he was interrupted by Swing's arrival. Hey, Milo! You're missing out on a big celebration, pal, Swing said excitedly. Thanks, Swing, but I'm really not in the mood, Milo shrugged. Then the others came over. They could see that something was wrong.
Are you okay, bud?
Asked Leap. Milo nodded.
Oh, come on, Milo,
Said Flip.
Clearly something is wrong, so out with it.
Milo sighed and said, Would you guys follow me? Go to the game, no matter what. Hey, said Swing confidently. We're not just friends. We're best friends. Sure, we annoy each other from time to time, but we stand by each other the whole way, no matter what. Milo looked at his friends and smiled. Thank you, guys, he said. I am so lucky to have friends like you. By this time, the animals were back on their all fours, and the public was starting to become very unsure. Milo, said Swing. The humans look scared. That's because they've never seen animals outside the zoo before, said Milo. Even though the animals were talking to each other, all the humans could hear were whinnies, hoots, croaks, growls, and squawks. So some of the people caught what the noise is on their phones and got the animals on film. Suddenly, the animals could hear the sound of police sirens getting closer.
Guys,
Said Flip nervously.
I think we should get out of here.
Right you are, replied Milo. And so off they went, deep into the park. The humans ran as well when the animals approached. Swing and Leap rode on Milo's back. They ran and ran and ran until suddenly a tranquilizer dart landed in Stalker's rear end. Ah! He cried. What's wrong, Stalker? Milo called. Something sharp hit me, said Stalker. As he spoke, the tranquilizer started to take effect, making the leopard very sleepy. Milo stopped short and realized his friend was slowing down. Stalker, we gotta get moving, he said. You keep going, Stalker said sleepily. I'll only slow you down. Don't talk like that, pal, said Milo determinedly. We're not giving up easily. But just as Milo spoke, another dark dart landed in his right side. Milo started to get very drowsy and began to see stars. He started to wobble around and around until everything went black. Flip tried to comfort and comfort her friends, but then she too was darted. Swing and Leap made a bolt for the trees so the authorities wouldn't catch them. The monkey couldn't have made a break for the trees, said one of the staff.
Let's split up. We'll cover more ground that way,
said a policeman. So the keepers and the police split into groups. Up in the tree, Swing and Leap were torn about what to do.
Well, this is just great. We've just been busted, our friends have been taken, and now we're stuck up in a tree with no chance of escape,
said Leap. Tell me about it, replied Swing.
Well, I guess we're done,
said Leap. Then just when all seemed lost, the monkey had an idea. Listen, he said. If there's one way that Milo had taught us, it is that we must not give up no matter how tough things get. Milo didn't give up on us when we were kids, so I'm not about to give up on him. Leap looked at her friend in surprise.
And here I thought you were all jokes and poorly choreographed stunts,
she said. They both thought for a moment, and then, with one voice, said, Velma!
So we get to Velma and ask her for assistance to rescue the others in time to get to the game,
said Leap. That's exactly what I was thinking, Swing replied. So this is what we're gonna do, he said, then whispered in Leap's ear. The police were still searching everywhere. Suddenly, the flock of pigeons swarmed all over them, and out of the swarm came Swing and Leap. Swing snatched a skateboard from under a kid's nose, whilst Leap hitched a ride on one of the pigeons.
Oi, said Leap. Do you happen to know where Hamilton Road is?
As a matter of fact, I do, replied the pigeon. Why would you like to go there? We don't have time to explain, said Swing. We need to get there to find help. Can you take us? All right, said the pigeon.
Everyone would think I'm a taxi service. Jeez. Is this way. So they traveled through the Trafalgar Square, then up Hyde Park, and towards Hammersmith. Suddenly, they realized 2 police cars were approaching fast, lights flashing and sirens blaring. Swing grabbed hold of a rope with a hook attached from a street stall. He threw the rope at a taxi, and the grapple hook attached onto the taxi's bumper, just as the taxi moved off. Leap trailed behind in case Swing needed assistance. I gotta lose these cops or we'll never find in Velma, Swing said to himself. He noticed heavy traffic ahead and had an idea. Let's see if you guys catch me in all this, he muttered at the police's cars. He skated through the traffic, ducking and dodging cars, buses, taxis, and lorries. The police officers had to abandon their cars and follow on foot, running as fast as they could. As the police closed in, Swing caught sight of a fruit stall. He grabbed 3 apples from the stall, spotted a parked rubbish truck, and signaled to Leap. There you go, said Swing. Have some bananas! He held the first banana tight and blew the fruit out of the skin, splatting it right in the first policeman's face, blinding him. Leap and the pigeon watched as Swing took on the 3 police cops individually. He dodged their attempts to grab him, squirting bananas right into the increasingly red faces. Then Swing laid the skateboard behind the rubbish truck, tossed the banana skins onto the floor in front of the skateboard, and took refuge up a lamppost for a breather. The lead policeman spotted Swing and skidded to a halt just behind in the rubbish truck, not seeing the banana skins until it was too late. He slipped on the banana skin and landed on the skateboard, which took off, and then both it arrived at the scene of a panting heavily. And both it and the policeman landed in the rubbish truck. The other police officers arrived at the scene, panting heavily. They hurried to help their fellow officer out of the stinky rubbish, giving Swing and Leap valuable time to escape. The pigeons were so impressed at how Swing had outwitted the police, and that they offered Leap a lift. Meanwhile, Milo woke up to find himself back in his own enclosure. He soon realized that the staff had modified the fence to keep him in. What? No. Oh, shivered Milo. Not back in my own home. No, but I'm so close. He tried to jump the fence, but when he did, the fence shot some electric energy through the zebra's body. Ah! He cried. I wouldn't do that if I were you, said a voice. Milo turned round to see Glenn looking so sorry for his son. Don't go, didn't go so well, it did it? He asked. Milo looked around. Where's my team? He said frankly. I have to get to them. Milo, easy, said Glenn, trying to calm his son down.
Your team are fine. They've just been led back into their enclosures. But now the zoo is on high alert. More staff and electric fences. You and your friends aren't ever getting out of here now. What about the game? Asked Milo. I gotta play for England in the UNICEF match. But Glenn wouldn't have any of it. Milo. Listen to me, he said firmly. It's over. You're just gonna have to accept the fact that the path we seek doesn't lead us to where we need to go. But even Glenn's wise words weren't enough to keep Milo from being upset. He turned away and walked slowly inside, thinking, I'm never coming out again. Glenn sighed. He was relieved Milo was safe, but sad to see him being kept away from his dreams. In different parts of the zoo, Stalker was bitter because he thought Milo had got them all in trouble, and Stalker and Flip were also Flip was also feeling down on her luck. The friends had lost all hope. Chapter 10. To Wembley. After escaping the police and navigating through the streets of London, Swing and Leap finally made it to Velma's house. Thanks, dude, Leap said to the pigeon after she jumped off his back.
No problem. Now go to your game,
called the pigeon. Then he flew off, leaving Swing and Leap to figure out a way to Velma's bedroom.
Well, we can't go through the front door,
said Leap. Quite right, replied Swing. Then they spotted another police car. They looked around frantically before noticing the fence around the back garden. Climb! Called Swing. They scrambled over the fence just as the panda car passed by. Okay, said Swing. Which do you suppose is our girl's room? They both shrugged their shoulders, then heard signs of teenage tantrums. They looked at each other and said together, That's our girl. They climbed up a garden tree, then scaled across a telephone wire until they finally landed on the bedroom windowsill. Inside her bedroom, Velma had exhausted herself, screaming, and now lay flat on her bed, sobbing. I hate you, Dad! She was just about to scream again until she heard a knock on her window. Go away! She sobbed. Velma! Swing called. It's us! I said go away! Velma sobbed even more. Darn it, girl! Would you just look out the window? Leap said. Velma looked up from her bed to find Swing and Leap outside her window. She hurried to the window. Guys! What are you doing here? She asked. We've come to ask for your help, said Leap. My help? What do you need me for? I'm grounded, said Velma. Because our friends Milo, Stalker and Flip have been taken by the police and the zookeepers, said Swing. We have got to get them out, cause we got a game to go to. Velma turned away. I appreciate your commitment, but you're wasting your time. Dad won't trust me to go anywhere, and that's why I'm grounded. Find another coach and leave me alone, she said sadly, turning away and lying back on her bed. But unlike her, Swing wouldn't give up so easily. I don't know if you want to hear this or not, but a friend of mine told me that when push comes to shove, the important thing is to never give up, no matter how hard things get, he said. So are you going to let your old man get you down? Or are you going to get out there, show this country what all the effort we have made to help with the UNICEF match hasn't been for nothing? Velma looked around and saw the serious look in Swing's eyes. She thought back to her mother's wise words.
Don't let regret stop you from doing what you love most.
Then slowly but steadily, she got up from her bed and said,
Let's go get the rest of our team.
Swing and Leap smiled.
But first, let me introduce you to my dad,
Velma said in a determined voice. Swing and Leap followed her to the lounge where Bradley was watching the golf. Velma said,
Dad, first of all, I would like to apologize for going behind your back, so I've decided to include you in the plan.
Plan? What plan? Asked Bradley. Then Velma told him about the plan to sort out the team for the UNICEF soccer match and about the new animal team members. Back at the zoo, Milo was feeling sad, not just because he wouldn't play in the match, but also because he felt he had let everyone down. Glenn noticed that his son hadn't moved for nearly 12 hours. Are you all right, son? He asked, hoping to cheer Milo up. No, Dad. I'm not, said Milo. I feel like a failure. I mean, I've spent all this time wanting and training to become a footballer. But not only do I feel like I've let my friends down, I have let you down too. Glenn had never heard his son talk this way before, and he didn't like it. Milo had always been so excited, so sure of himself, and never one for quitting. He wasn't gonna let him give up. May I sit by you, Milo? He asked. Milo nodded. Glenn knew it was time to give his son the father talk, but not in the way you think. Listen, son, for as long as I've known you, you've never been a failure. You have never let me down. I know life isn't all sunshine and rainbows, but when it comes to a dream, you have to fight for it. Because if you don't, you will regret it for the rest of your life. Milo thought for a while, and then realized something. You're right, Dad, he said. I do have a dream. And I'm going to keep fighting for it. And with every ounce of breath and strength, Milo started to rise up back onto his feet. He took a few steps out into the open enclosure. He stood in the middle, then raised his hands to the sky and let out a long, triumphant cry. Hey, Wembley! I'm coming for you! So get ready! All his animals' friends, the visitors, and the zoo staff heard his cry. Milo worked out throughout the day. Everything from push-ups, jogging, pull-ups, lifting, star jumps, etc. The visitors all gathered round the enclosure to watch the action and were amazed at what they saw. Some kids even looked on their phones and recognized him. The keepers, including Alice, were astounded at seeing their zebra do all these workouts on 2 legs.
That zebra knows how to keep fit,
they said to one another. Milo looked up and looked at the audience. Then a kid threw a football at him and said, "Catch!" Milo caught the ball and played tricks with it. And instead of being afraid when he stopped playing, the public cheered. Glenn smiled, and so did all the keepers. Then a voice called out, "Milo! Milo! Over here!" Milo didn't know whether it was a fan or his mother. But when he looked closer, he realized it was Velma! Along with her dad, Swing and Leap. "I am ever glad to see you guys," he said. "But what's your dad doing here?"
I told him about the UNICEF game and about our plan. Also remember what I taught you. A real footballer team never gives up.
After talking to the zoo manager, Bradley strolled into the enclosure and started to give a speech.
"Hi everyone," he said confidently. "I am here because my own daughter never gave up on me. Never gave up on football and never gave up on doing what's right for her team. She told me that she was assembling this team of animals to join the UNICEF Soccer Aid England team. And in all my years of football training, I have never seen anything like it. So that is why my family and the zoo staff have decided to support this zebra called, He turned to his daughter.
Milo!
She called. Then he continued.
Right, Milo and his friends to take part in the Soccer Aid at Wembley."
Everyone clapped and cheered. Velma smiled to see that her football-loving father had returned, and she gave her dad a huge hug. Even the zoo manager was excited.
"Well, what are we waiting for?"
He ordered the keepers.
"Assemble the trainers!"
Milo told Velma that they were going to need all the team. So Velma asked the manager to get Milo's friends onto the vans too. Milo turned to his dad. "Are you going to wish me luck?" he asked. Glenn put his hoof onto his son's shoulder and said, "Yes, but I'm also coming with you to watch you play." And just like that, the New England Soccer Aid football team were back in action. Flip was so proud.
I love you guys,
she said to her friends. The animals were put into their individual carriers. Velma and Bradley left into their car, and everyone was off. Chapter 11. The Big Game. Milo was so excited to be going to the game. Glenn shared the same trailer he was in, because he wanted to cheer his son onto the pitch. "I can't believe it, Dad," said Milo. "We finally get to go to the game." "Neither can I, son," chuckled Glenn.
But here we go.
In front of the vans, Bradley and Velma were leading the way.
That was a heck of a speech, Dad,
said Velma. Bradley smiled and said,
Thank you, sweetie. But we've only just begun.
They went along the city streets. Some people waved and cheered. Some followed them, and others stayed at their homes to watch the match on the TVs. After half hour navigating through London, the animals and people arrived at Wembley. News reporters had gathered to get shots of the new team members. The reporters crowded around Bradley and Velma, asking questions.
Coach Bradley, we've just been told that you are now training a new football team for the Soccer Aid match. Is that true?
No comment, said the coach. But Velma said,
As a matter of fact, we are. See for yourself.
Just then, Milo, his dad, and their friends came out of their trucks and strolled into view. The camera crew and the TV reporters were astonished that they had no idea what to make of the new players, but they were about to find out. When they got inside the stadium, Milo was in awe. I can't believe it. We're inside the actual Wembley football stadium, he said in excitement.
Neither can I,
said Stalker sarcastically.
Come on, said Velma. Daddy and I will show you to the changing rooms.
In the changing rooms, they met the rest of the Soccer Aid team. When the human team members saw the coach, they were so hesitated. It because they thought he had abandoned them. So they turned their backs.
All right, you guys, listen up,
said Bradley, trying to make peace.
I know that recently the team has had a tough time, and I am deeply sorry that I have not been there for you. But if we all pull together and give it our best shot, we can still have a chance. You got some nerve coming here after the way you treated us, coach,
snapped a player called Jeff.
Yeah, why should we listen to you?
Asked Douglas. Bradley was about to reply when Velma stepped in.
I'll tell you why, boys,
she said.
Because we've taken a lot of time to think. We found some new talented team members, and together we can win this.
As she finished speaking, Milo and his friends came into view. When the players saw the animals, they fell about laughing until they cried.
Thank you very much, coach,
said Dill.
You just brought in the freak show. Yeah, we're now a bigger joke than before,
said Jeff.
Will you lads shut up and show a little respect?
Bradley snapped. He only said that to make them stop laughing.
Now, I get that they are different, but remember the old saying, you must never judge a book by its cover. Velma has shown me that these guys can do it. And they are truly incredible. So unless you want to continue acting like children, I say, let's get our act together, play the best game we can, and raise a lot of money to help children all over the world.
The others looked at each other. They realized their old coach was back. So after a quick discussion, they decided to put the past behind them and join in the fun. You introduce them, honey, Bradley said to his daughter.
Everyone,
Said Velma.
these are my new friends. Milo the zebra, Swing the monkey, Leap the tree frog, Stalker the leopard, and Flip the flamingo.
Oh,
Guys,
she said to her friends.
meet the rest of the team.
After the introductions were over, everyone got changed, and then they found themselves standing at the entrance to the world-famous Wembley Tunnel. Hearing the roar of the cheering crowds in the stadium, Milo was both excited and nervous. I wonder who we're going to be up against, he asked.
I don't know.
Said Lee. Being amongst so many humans just creeps me out, said Stalker. Well then, you creep on. Get it? Laughs and Swing.
Come on, guys.
Said Blip.
Let's all take a deep breath and have some fun.
Then suddenly, out came the whistle, so the England team, with its new animal teammates, jogged out onto the field. First up, came the voice of the commentator. Here comes the England team out onto the field, so eager to get going. Now let's get a good look at the competition. Today, it is England against the rest of the world. Remember, this match is to raise as much money as possible for the soccer aid. So anyone watching at home, please go onto the socceraid.com website and donate. All accounts, small and large, that make a difference. Thank you. Velma called the team together around.
Okay, animals, she said. Those guys on the rest of the world team are celebrities. I've been studying them. That's Usain Bolt, the captain, Lee Mack, Mark Strong, Cafu, and Mo Gilligan. So watch out for them, and watch out for them and for each other.
Stalker looked all around him, feeling so nervous. I don't know. What if the beast inside me gets nasty around the crowd?
Then you're going to have to keep it in check,
said Velma. Milo agreed. Come on, guys. We've got to keep our animal instincts under wrap for everyone's sake, he said. Bradley said to his team, Listen up, lads. We don't have to come here to win. We came here to play football and to do our part for those children. So trust the animal team, members, and look out for each other. As soon as both teams ran onto the pitch, they eyed each other. They're up.
Milo and Usain locked eyes.
Then the whistle went and the game began. Glenn watched from afar. He could hear the commentators saying, Things are starting to rumble. It has been a few years since the England team stepped it up, and now we've got animal-like mascots joining the team. This should be interesting.
The monkey has passed the ball over to the zebra. Now Usain has tackled the ball from under the stripes horse's nose. He's kicked it straight over to Lee Mack.
As soon as Lee took the ball, Stalker the leopard dribbled him up and ran off with the ball. Oh, what a swift leg sweep by the cat, said the commentator. The rest of the world team has been rewarded a free kick. The whistle blew and the team stopped. The animal friends stared at Stalker as if to say, "What is the matter with you?" Now all they had to do was wait for the free kick. The commentator continued,
Now Lee is about to take the kick, and there it goes. Kylie Lloyd has the ball. She passes it to Usain. He's going, and then it's a goal!
That is 1-0 to the rest of the world. Bradley called on for a torchlight. There's still a long way to go. There's still a long way to go. Keep an eye on the ball and trust the animals and each other. Velma, your thoughts?
Velma assessed the situation and then called out to the team. Milo, leap, and Samo on the left. Stalker, flip, chucks on the right. Swing, Anita, and Damien take the middle.
That's my girl, said Bradley. Alright, people. Remember, there's no I in team. Good luck out there.
Both teams got into positions, and the whistle blew, and the commentator continued.
The zebra has passed the ball to Samo, who has passed it to the monkey.
Swing couldn't believe his eyes. I wish I was in goal, he said to himself, but he had to keep it cool, so he passed it to Flip.
And now the pink bird has the ball, the commentator said. It is about to go for the goal. Going, and go! 1-0!
Flip had just scored a goal, and the England team breathed a sigh of relief. I did it! Screams Flip. Her friends gathered around her. Right on! They all said. You guys are amazing! Called on Velma. You listen to each other. And you never gave up. But we're not finished yet. They carried on playing back and forth, and neither team able to get past the other crowd, past the other to score. Until there were only 8 minutes for the first half left. The crowd cheered on and on. The more Milo and his friends played, the more confident they became. They kept on playing till half-time whistle.
1-1, said the commentator. Still, all to play in the second half. What will happen next, and who will win?
Keep watching this extraordinary game.
Keep watching this extraordinary game to find out.
Chapter 12. Victory. Both teams were taking a half-time breather. Milo took a sip of water and looked at his team. Isn't this fun, or what? He panted. How long are we going to keep up until we win? Asked Leap. We got 45 minutes to go, said Velma. Keep going, everyone. You're doing an amazing job. Concentrate on keeping them away from our goal and carry on passing the ball just like you did the first half. The friends could hear the commentator saying,
Half-time is drawing to a close. Please return to your seats for the rest of the game.
Come on, guys, Milo called. We've got a game to finish.
All right, keep your stripes on. We're coming, said Stalker.
Then they ran off into position. The referee lifted up his whistle when a roar echoed out over the entire stadium, and Rodney, the Sumatran tiger, appeared at the tunnel entrance, followed by the rest of the zoo animals.
Well, it looks like the other animals have come to see the rest of the game. How about that? Shouted the
commentator, completely amazed at what he was seeing. Milo was so surprised. His father had told the pigeons to spread the word around the zoo, and just like that, all of the animals had answered the call. The humans were flabbergasted. Milo took one look at his father and smiled. Glenn winked. "I'll make you proud, Dad," Milo called. "You bet your stripes you will," Glenn said softly. Milo exchanged glances with his team, so they locked positions and stares. Then the whistle blew, and the second half began. The rest of the world started well, and the England team struggled to get possession of the ball.
Things are about to get interesting. The rest of the world are gaining the upper hand,
said the commentator. The humans in the England team were slowing down and close to collapse. Only Milo and his friends still had stamina. But Milo hesitated as he looked from one goal to the other. He looked at his friends, then at the scoreboard. Still 1-1 and only 5 minutes left to go. He worried that he didn't do something. If he didn't do something, he was about to let everyone down again. Then suddenly, Milo remembered what he and Velma had discussed about never giving up on your dreams. And he thought about the fun times he had with his team and his father. He could also hear his mother's voice in his mind, saying,
"Be brave, sweetie."
With a deep breath, Milo saw Usain Bolt maneuvering the ball towards swing in the goal. Just as the big guy was about to score a goal, Milo signaled to swing, and the monkey jumped and head-butted the football away from the goal line. The ball hurtled towards Flip. She did a long pass to Stalker. Milo, with Leap on his shoulder, galloped ahead.
"Milo," said Leap, "let me kick it. I can do it."
Milo nodded, then called to Stalker.
"Pass to me!"
Stalker kicked the ball. Milo threw Leap towards it. In midair, Leap backflipped the ball, and finally, Milo did a spin kick. The ball flew past the keeper and hit the back of the gate of the net just as the final whistle went. The crowd went wild, clapping and cheering. The home team had won, all because of the animals' cooperation and teamwork. Velma and Bradley had never been more happy in their lives. As the friends whooped in triumph, the humans and the animals cheered.
"Well done,"
cheered Velma.
"You guys sure have made a mark in football history and saved my family."
Well, when you're brave and loyal, it's amazing what you can accomplish once you believe in yourself and others around you, said Milo, turning and smiling at his friends. The England team humans gathered to congratulate their new animal team members. Bradley came over with a huge smile on his face and said, "It took me 4 years of moping, drinking, and other sorrows. But you lot and my daughter have shown me new hope, and for that I am truly grateful. Thank you." All of the team shared a huge group hug. The reporters and television cameras gathered around to experience the winning of the game, and both fathers, Glenn and Bradley, looked on so proud of their kid's triumph. "That's your kid?" Bradley asked Glenn. Glenn turned and nodded. Robbie Williams went to the microphone. "Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and all creatures great and small. I am pleased to announce that today the England team have won this year's Soccer 8 match. And what a game it was! Never have we seen such an amazing team. This game will go down in history," he continued. "But let's not forget that today's all about making a better life for children across all countries around the world where UNICEF works. I would also like to say that we should allow all the animals of our London Zoo to become free animals of the city. With Her Majesty's permission, that is. Even the Queen was pleased when she saw the game on the TV. So that is why I am honored to award the Soccer 8 Cup to this zebra called..."
Milo!
called out Velma. "Right. Milo!" "Thank you, young lady," said Robbie Williams. "And to the rest of the England team." Everyone clapped and cheered. Then Robbie called for Coach Bradley to come to the stand. "Thank you very much," said Bradley. "Well, I don't know where to start. First of all, I would just like to say that ever since my wife's passing, my home team has had a hard time, as I was a hard-boiled wreck. But my daughter showed me that no matter how many times life kicks you and knocks you down, the best thing to do is to keep on moving and trying, no matter the cost. These animals have really brought hope, not just for me, but for every soul, young and old. So I say, I've got a name for this family. Everyone, this is Zooland, a sign of hope. Thank you." With that, both humans and animals cheered, roared, and screeched for the hills. They could be heard right across London. Milo turned to his dad. "I'm so proud of you, my son," Glenn said. "I wish Mom was here to see this," Milo replied. "I bet she's watching us somewhere out there at a different zoo." Father and son gave each other an embrace and gazed around at the crowd. "Now go be with your friends," Glenn said, and Milo went over to join his team. Velma smiled at her new friends.
We should hang out more,
she said. The others nodded. What a good thing it was that a zebra had the courage to follow his dreams and to inspire his friends to leave the zoo and work hard to be declared legends of this beautiful game. But watch out, because the next stage of their adventure is yet to come. The end. Zooland. Read and written by Marcus Mason Williams.